Now we come to the next presenter, please.
Thank you, sir. We really appreciate your detailed work analysis. For the next presentation, I would like to call Balwinder Singh Gulati and Anushka Priya. So,
Thereafter, we have got one online presentation
yes,
also. So just
Good morning, everyone. Today, I, Balwinder and Anushka, presenting a case study. The topic is evaluating the mental health and socio-economic impacts of corporate wash interventions on rural women. Our study goes beyond the traditional understanding of wash, that is water, sanitation and hygiene. Most evaluations look at numbers like how many toilets were built, how many liters of water were supplied. But in this case study, we focuses on women, their mental health, their daily emotional experiences, their safety, their time and their empowerment. We studied corporate models by HUL, ITC, Tata Trusts, One Drop Foundation, PepsiCo, and also we developed a new model called the Pink Mobile Maintenance Squad. This presentation explores how wash interventions can shift a woman's life from fear to freedom, from time to poverty to opportunity, and from silence to leadership.
When we think of wash challenges, we think of disease like diarrhea or cholera. But in reality, there is a hidden crisis, a crisis that hurts women psychologically every single day. Imagine waking up and planning your day around where you will defecate without being seen. Imagine being afraid of harassment or animal attacks just to use the toilet. Imagine being responsible for fetching water every single day while carrying the fear of shame if water runs out. This is the everyday reality of millions of rural women. So the key question is, how do wash interventions impact a woman's mental state, dignity, and agency, not just her physical health? This question forms the heart of our study. Why this study was necessary? The need for this study came from a simple observation. We celebrate when a toilet is built, but we rarely ask, does the woman use it feel safe? Does she feel less stressed? Does she gain more time? Does she feel empowered? This study fills that gap. We evaluate wash programs not through infrastructure outputs, but through human outcomes. Our scope includes mental health impacts, time saving and economic changes, safety and privacy, gender roles and decision making, behavior change and social acceptance. And finally, we identify three large gaps that even the best corporate models struggle with: maintenance, affordability, and behavior change. These gaps led us to design a new women-led model, the Pink Mobile Maintenance Squad.
Now we have done some literature review for sanitation, mental health and violence. On this slide, I want to highlight what the literature review clearly shows about the emotional and psychological impact of inadequate sanitation on women. Research from rural Orissa by Sahu et al. Paper shows that the lack of private toilet forces women into sanitation insecurity, leading them to withhold urine and defecation throughout the day. This is not just physically painful, it creates continuous worry, shame and high anxiety. The HPTN 068 study paper from South Africa adds another dimension. Even the fear of violence at toilets or water points is enough to raise depressive symptoms among adolescent girls. What is striking is that psychological harms occurs when the violence does not happen. Fear alone becomes a heavy emotional burden. Somers' global research paper further shows that girls without menstrual hygiene facilities often miss schools during periods, leading to reduced participation, embarrassment, and long-term academic disadvantage. Together, these studies revealed that inadequate wash harms women's mental health through the shame, fear, lack of privacy, and safety risk, not only through diseases. This shifts our understanding from a medical problem to a profound psychological and gender challenge. Now, this slide Now this slide focuses on how water and sanitation challenges shapes women's time, productivity and empowerment. According to UNICEF WHO 2023 global report, women and girls spend an astonishing 200 million hours every single day collecting water. In India, women additionally perform over 7 hours of unpaid domestic work daily. This burden leaves them with very little time for education, rest, skill development or paid work, creating what researchers call time poverty. Lack of reliable water and sanitation also affects girls' education. Many girls miss school because they must collect water or lack girl-friendly toilets, limiting their long-term opportunities. The Empowerment in WASH Index provides another insight. Women who participate in WASH decision making, such as in water committees or governance role, show major improvements in confidence, mobility and leadership. This demonstrates that WASH is not just a service issue, it's a pathway to gender empowerment when women are actively involved. Together, the literature makes it clear WASH access shapes women's time, choices and agency. Improving WASH means improving women's ability to participate in society on equal terms.
So our this case study was totally dependent on secondary data. So our findings were mental health and time impacts of corporate wash. Hindustan Unilever's Suvidha centers in Dharavi and other Mumbai slums offer clean toilets, showers, laundry services and drinking water ATMs in well-lit, secure environments. Equipped with CCTV and panic buttons, they significantly reduces fear and anxiety among women. This model improves dignity and mental well-being, with 94% women reporting emotional relief and major drops in UTIs and diarrheal diseases. ITC works in agricultural regions across Bihar, Rajasthan, Andhra Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh, improving water security through watershed structured and farm level water access. These interventions reduces women's daily water fetching load, allowing participation in 9,000 plus self-help groups where they save, earn and lead. The saved time increases household income, nutrition and women's economic mobility. Tata Trust operates in states like Tripura, Jharkhand, Gujarat, Odisha and Maharashtra, where they integrate safe water system with strong menstrual hygiene management. One Drop is mainly focusing on Shiohar of Bihar. One Drop's ABC model in Shiohar, Bihar combines infrastructure access, social art-based engagement, which is on behavior model, and microloans to create informative wash outcomes. Theater, murals and storytelling break silence around sanitation and menstruation in conservative communities. The project has improved wash condition for 250,000 plus people and strengthened women leadership. So after the analysis of research papers and these organization models, we found 3 gaps. The first is maintenance gap. A toilet breaks, a pump fails and a tap leaks. Women immediately go back to open defecation. This can destroy their confidence and create what we call dashed hope stress. The second gap was cost gap. Even a small fee of ₹3 be too much for ultra poor families, especially when every use must be paid for. The third gap was behavior change gap. Building toilets does not automatically change habits. Behavior change requires long-term enforcement. Finally, the caste gap persists where sanitation works is associated with Dalit communities unless mechanized and dignified wash risk, reinforcing the inequality. These gaps require a new type of solution, one that is sustainable, inclusive and gender-driven.
So we have introduced the solution like the Pink Mobile Maintenance Squad. To address all these gaps together, we developed a new idea, the Pink Mobile Maintenance Squad. This model transforms rural women into trained wash technicians equipped with pink electric scooters or bicycles with toolkits. They provide rapid repairs for toilets, taps and pumps, emergency delivery of sanitary pads and basic medicines, evening safety patrols near water points, hygiene education and behavior reinforcement. So this model is powerful for 3 reasons. It makes wash system reliable, problem gets fixed immediately. It creates jobs and mobility for rural women, breaking gender stereotypes. Third is it reduces mental stress because women know help is just a call away. The pink scooter is not just transport, it becomes a symbol of dignity, skill and women's leadership in WASH. So what will be the impact of Pink Squad in social, economic and mental health? The Pink Squad has the potential to create multi-layered impact. Socially, it increases women's presence and visibility in public spaces. When young girls see women riding pink scooters as technicians, it shifts generational aspirations. Economically, the squad earns money through repair services, pad sales, or household subscription plans. This brings independent income, which is one of the strongest indicators of empowerment. Mentally, the reduction in fear, uncertainty, and shame is huge. Knowing that toilets will not remain broken for months create a sense of security and dignity. The Pink Squad becomes the missing link between infrastructure and real sustainable empowerment.
To conclude, WASH is not just about disease control. It is about mental health, emotional well-being, time, dignity, and gender equality. Corporate interventions show powerful results when they combine. That's privacy, safety, economic empowerment, behavior change, community involvement. But gaps of maintenance, affordability, and social barriers must still be addressed. The Pink Mobile Maintenance Squad offers a fresh, women-led, scalable solution that strengthens WASH system while empowering women socially and economically. Here are few references where we took the research papers.
Thanks, Balwinder.
Yes, sir.
And Anushka. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I could not get what is this corporate WASH? Some corporate investing into WASH.
Yes, sir.
Good. Now you took certain case studies. Okay?
Yes.
That is, and secondary data source, that is what you are telling. That means you have read their reports. And after reading the reports, you found that particular gap.
Yes.
The gap, what kind of gap?
Some maintenance gap.
Maintenance gap. But these reports, they do not speak about maintenance, they do not show any budget on maintenance. Have
Yes,
you,
sir.
as per your version, but what you want to say that these reports, whenever these corporates have published their reports, so they have not spoken anything about the maintenance. So you say that there is one gap. Another gap?
And it's a behavioral gap.
Cost gap.
That they have not captured, but they are speaking a lot many good things about their intervention. Then how could they write good things about their intervention unless they have understood the emotional impacts?
Sir, they have done the 80% of the work. Like corporate has invested and they have made the toilets, but they have not think of
Have they written these things in the report from where you are preparing this particular presentation?
Yes, sir. Sir, we have put the links from where we have get this data.
Okay.
And sir, we have also put the citations.
No, I don't think you people got any chance to meet the beneficiaries to understand the reality.
Yes, sir. We for that we have to do the ground
You
level.
have to move yeah, because this gives you a scope to if you want to work further.
Yes, sir.
So this will be more addition, still quite a structured kind of presentation, so we are happy. But further work can be done because when you are relying on a particular report, the same thing which I understood about you, when you rely on the report, why will I publish anything negative about my organization or my intervention? So only good things are written. So finding something which is missing is again something a bit difficult task. But if you have found, then you should actually get some primary data also that will help you to build up this research paper in a better way.
Yes, sir.
No, good work. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir.
Would like to respond to his comments?
No, sir.
Just to add to the points that Dr. Vishnu has made, one of the things that I could not get a clear picture on was the correlation between mental health and the WASH practices, right? So you have based most of the arguments on the secondary literature that you have gone through. But again, going through the secondary literature, you also develop your own understanding, no?
Yes.
So that personal understanding of both the authors is missing in the presentation. So we would like to establish that correlation, that how these two are like correlated. Mental health and WASH.
So, as we know, as I mentioned in the PPT as well, women were thinking of every day, maybe water is not available, animal will attack. WASH is mainly water, sanitization and hygiene intervention. So, women are having fear about if animal will attack, if she goes out of house. As there were in rural Bihar, there were not toilets when we see 15 years back. Now few interventions happened, but these were the mental issues they were facing from morning to night. They were having such kind of being in such kind of mental state.
So again, a doubt that both of us we are carrying, that the secondary literature that you have
Yes, sir.
referred, they are not reflecting about those personal issues that the women they are facing. And I'm just adding one more point to it,
Yes.
that the concept note that has been given to us, your entire concept note is based upon Bihar. But your secondary literature is not mentioning Bihar per se. You had one case study from Odisha, you had one case from
Yes.
South Africa. So these are, again we understand that the women related problems, they can be very universal. The women, they are facing the same kind of issues. But there is nothing Bihar state specific that we could get into. Second, is this Pink Mobile already in operation, and which organization is running it?
Sir, this is not right now implemented. Sir, we are proposing these solutions. Sir,
This is a recommendation by us.
So again, that has not also come out very clearly that it is being thought about as a model that can be implemented. Last point, you have very passingly talked about sanitary pads. Now, menstrual health management in itself is like a big territory altogether so far as the women health is concerned. So, if at all you want to touch upon that, it becomes like another thing altogether. It can't be talked in the same breath as WASH is. Both may have their same limitations and the challenges that the women they face. Again, WASH becomes like, WASH is not only an issue for the woman, no, it is for the men as well. So that is one critical insight that I wanted you to delve into. If at all you want to talk on sanitary pads, either remove it or you take it like, give it more respect, give it more space in your research.
sure, sir.
Anyone from the audience or of the dais would like to enrich the scholars? No. Then we can move to the next presenter.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Now we are moving to the online segment. We are having Dr. Bhinderjeet Kaur from Baba Farid College of Education, Bhatinda, and our topic is influence of parental encouragement on the self-esteem of adolescents. So IT team, please connect to Dr. Bhinderjeet Kaur. Dr. Bhinderjeet Kaur, do you listening to me? So I would like to give you a brief instruction that you will give in a 15 minutes of time, 10 minutes for your presentation and 5 minutes for your Q&A session. So the stage is all yours. You may continue now.
Okay. Good morning to all, one and all present here. Myself is Dr. Pindarjeet Kaur, Assistant Professor, Baba Farid College of Education, Bathinda, and my co-author name is Ranjana Rani, Assistant Professor, DAV College of Education, Fazilka. Today, my presentation topic is influence of parental encouragement on our self-esteem, adolescence. I'm going to start from the introduction of parental encouragement and the self-esteem. Parents play a critical role in the development of the young adult who was succeed in a school, college, career, and a life endeavor. It is during the high school year that students find their way in a life. They discover their interest, goals, dreams, their ambitions. The students are more likely to reach a full potential in this time period when their parents actively support and encourage their direction and the goal. They feel this type of encouragement to achieve their goal, for their motivation, to participate in such many type of activities. Therefore, a smart parents encourage their children whenever they are moving in a direction. The many factor affect the development of a self-esteem, and these factor, which one of the factor is a parental encouragement and the parental involvement. The parents' attitudes are the very important to feeling of children about themselves, especially in a children in a early year. When the parents give acceptance to the feeling of the children, they receive a solid base for the good feeling about themselves improvement. If one or both parents are unnecessarily critical or demanding, or if they are overprotective or under overprotective, then the children may come to believe that they are incapable, inadequate, or inferior. Maybe they feel a lack of self-esteem may be developed in a children. In construct to if the parents encourage their children move toward the self-reliance and the accept themselves, definitely it helps to the develop their self-esteem, their confidence, to achieve their goals. The successful parents, it is a frequently use words of encouragement and the sportive action to point out their children they want to make. There is need of my study. I did my study on a primary based data. I have used a psychological test, and the need and signification of my study is the research from the personal experience recognize that if pupils are to maximize their potential from schooling, there was need to the full encouragement of their parents, and the parents, whether educated or illiterate, give a definite shape to the personality of their children, especially during school going age. If the parents are illiterate or well educated, definitely they participate, they play a vital role in their personality. In the school going age, a large amount of energy and a great deal, especially that of parents, as are needed to keep up with the rapid rate of the children development, because in this time, the age was the age is very crucial. We can say the age of stress and strain. It is their adolescence age. The present study was useful for the parents, educated in the journal, and the teacher in the particular, because the knowledge of the relationship of these factors under this study was enabled to the parents to understand the child, and was provide an insight to the parents to deal effectively with their children, so that they was able to develop an understanding of the importance of a self-esteem. So there is a objective of my study, to study the relationship between parental encouragement and self-esteem of adolescents. The second objective of my study is to significance different in a parental encouragement and self-esteem of on the basis of a gender. So I have made a hypothesis based on my objective. The first hypothesis is there is exist no significant relationship between the parental encouragement and self-esteem of adolescents. There exists no significant difference in achievement of parental encouragement scale on gender based, and no significant difference in achievement of self-esteem on a gender base. I have collected and take a sample of 200 adolescents, the 100 male and the 100 female. I have take it from the different government school of Punjab. I have choose randomly two district. The one is Fatehgarh Sahib, the second one is Mohali district, by the convenient sampling. Because it is very near about me, the school was selected random sampling technique to including from rural and the urban government schools. This chart shows the comparison of mean achievement of adolescents with respect to gender, the basis of the achievement on parental encouragement. The chart shows it can be seen that mean and standard deviation for adolescent boys or parental encouragement scale are 295.97 and the standard deviation is 337.82 respectively, and the mean and standard deviation for the adolescents girls is the mean is 290.35 and the standard deviation is 33.64 respectively. Further, the t-value also found that it to be 0.11, which is not significant at the 0.05 level. It means there is exist no significant difference in achievement of parental encouragement scale among the boys and the girls that is accepted. The next pie chart shows the comparison of mean achievement of adolescents with respect to gender on the basis of their self-esteem, and there is a brief clarification of this chart. That is, it can be seen that mean and standard deviation for adolescents boys on a self-esteem scale are 28.46 and the standard deviation is 6.29 respectively, while the standard deviation and the mean of the adolescents girl, the mean is 28.42 and the standard deviation is 5.34 respectively. Further, if we talk about the t-value, that is found to be 0.060, which is not significant at the 0.05 level. It shows that the mean achievement score on a self-esteem inventory with respect to boys and the girl is not significant. In this context, the hypothesis, namely, there is no exist significant difference in the achievement of self-esteem inventory among boys and girl is accepted. Now come to the conclusion. The study aimed to examine the relationship between the parental encouragement and adolescent self-esteem, as well as investigate gender difference in parental encouragement and self-esteem. The result revealed a positive and the significant correlation between the parental encouragement and the self-esteem, and the indicating that the adolescents who receive more encouragement from their parents tend to have higher self-esteem, and it is a natural and it is identified. This support the first hypothesis that there is a significant relationship between parental encouragement and a self-esteem. Regarding the gender different, no significant variation in parental encouragement were observed between the both gender, male and the female, boys and a girl, indicated that the parents offer similar level of encouragement of the both gender. There is no significant difference found, but there is a significant difference found in parental encouragement and self-esteem. Similar, no significant difference in self-esteem were found boys and girls, just if the self-esteem level are the comparable for the both gender in the sample. I have suggested some education implication, and my first education implication is the parental involvement in education. It is a must, and according to the finding, the underscore the importance of parental engagement in the academic and the emotional development of the adolescents. Parents play a crucial role in the shaping their child. Their self-esteem, which in the turn impact their academic success. School can leverage this information to enhance the parents-teacher collaboration, like PTM. We can say that like a PTM, ensuring that the parents are more engaged in their children learning. My second education implication is the fostering self-esteem. How the parents foster, how the teacher foster their self-esteem. The study highlight that the positive relationship with parents, where the encouragement and the support are the emphasized, it is essential for the boosting adolescent self-esteem. Educational institution must also encourage, even than a teacher, the institution, the all faculty of the institution to create such an like an environment to foster their self-esteem, so that they can participate, they can take initiative to participate in all type of activities which contribute to their overall well-being and the academic performance of a student. The next one, that is a parent education. The parents education is a must to know about the need of a student, how, and it is very necessary to educate of the parents. It is important to educate parents on the value of the providing consistent and the constructive encouragement, how it is important and why it is important in the life of a children. School could host workshop like seminar to guide the parents how to nourish their children to self-esteem and support their academic efforts effectively. It is a duty of a school or an institution, we can say. Avoiding the exclusive pressure. The research also emphasized that the while encouraging or encouragement is a beneficial, excessive academic pressure can lead to low self-esteem and lack of academic interest. Parents should be made aware of this. The school should provide resources to help the parents to find the balance between encouraging their children and avoiding their undergoes pressure. Because we know that the all parents are not very higher educated and illiterate, literate, and the maximum maybe the 50% parents of the everybody they are not more than literate of the higher education. So there is avoiding excessive pressure, and it can be possible by the organization. So last one that a reference I have used to make my study is fruitful. Thank you so much.
Where do you, which institution are you working right now?
I'm working as an assistant professor, Baba Farid College of Education, Bathinda, sir.
Okay, so do you have to what level, undergraduate, graduate, PG, or say doctorate? What kind of engagement is there?
Can you repeat again?
Your engagement is with which level? Postgraduate,
Sir,
undergraduate?
it's secondary school students.
Okay, so that's why you have chosen that sample of school students.
Yes.
Okay. One thing that I could not get is about what is the standard deviation and mean that you had discussed in your slide somewhere.
Sir, I have calculated in a manually. Maybe it should be a minimum wrong, but I have tried to find it as a correct value. I was used a Garrett book to find the exact values and the significant level.
Okay. And some of the conclusions that you made, so can you show us, do you have the questionnaire ready with you, or say how did you capture those things in your questionnaire? For
Sir,
example, parental education. You are making a conclusion on parental education. So where did you capture it in your questionnaire? How could you capture it in your research objectives also?
Okay, sir, I was used standardized scale, Agarwal Parental Encouragement Scale by the Kusum Agarwal. It was developed and standardized by 1999, and self-esteem inventory made by the Maurer Rosenberg, developed and standardized by 1996.
Yeah, no, you're not getting my point. Your respondents are school students. And so
Yes,
did you ask them whether their parents are educated on parenting the children? Was it there in the questionnaire?
Okay. Sir, I think if I want to participate, I want to be encouraged from my parents. So I think it is a must to encouragement by the parents to the student to achieve their goal, whatever it is minimum or a maximum participation in every type of activity.
And the point is that I'm talking to a doctor. So I thought that it's more structured. The conclusions are based on the research questions as well as the things that you have covered in a questionnaire. That's why this comment came to my mind. Even as a parent, I feel that I'm quite undereducated and I'm not. I need to learn many things from the slide that you have shown here. Anyways, that was all from my side. And Dr. Rahman will take over.
Yeah, I just have one very broad basic question to you, Dr. Kaur. How will you justify this presentation within this conference whose entire premise is the corporate social responsibility?
Okay, so my topic is not relevant to your conference, but if I talk about our student or the nation builder in the future, so definitely it is correlated with your conference, because if they will be educated, if they will be encouraged by their parents, definitely they will play a good role in a society.
Okay, still like there's a lot of clear justification that I was expecting, but nevertheless, a good attempt. Just one last word, like you have used a Word file for the presentation. We
Yes,
expect
sir.
that a PowerPoint file would have served the purpose better. But yeah, thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
Any question from the people out of the dais? Do you want to enrich the scholar, the researcher? That's all. Thank you, ma'am. So you can, thanks.
Next, now it's my absolute honor to invite our next presenter, an alumni of CIMP, Mr. Anand Kumar Singh, Deputy General Manager of Bihar Industrial Area Development Authority, Biada, Hajipur. He is responsible for the operational management of Hajipur industrial clusters, handling land allotment, grievances redressal, and infrastructural maintenance within the cluster. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Anand Kumar Singh, sir. Sir.
So, thanks to all the distinguished members and all the participants and all the students. Today I am going to present how Biada and Industry Department is delivering their social responsibility in terms of welfare schemes and all the deliveries by Industries Department. So, I would proceed one by one. In absolute term, actually Biada develop infrastructure and deliver the land and other facilities to industries. But if I go to see the overall delivery of Biada, then we actually basically we provide SDG 9 only, in the direct form, but in overall form we can deliver SDG 10, SDG 8, SDG 12, SDG 7 and SDG 1 also. Actually it is not in the serial of in SDG numbers, because I have set this in terms of the priority which we deliver. So SDG 9 is the most priority sustainable development goal, and then we move to SDG 10, SDG 10, SDG 12, SDG 7, SDG 1. So in SDG 9, we acquire land in all over Bihar, and we develop the infrastructure, we plan the infrastructure, and we deliver all these things to our upcoming industries. So this is the basic role of Biada, to regulate and facilitate the industrial development through its act, Biada Act 1974, and we plan the development and infrastructure and set a policy to implement all those activities. These are the few photographs of our infrastructure, like solar lights, road, and all the developments. So this is the basic industries available in my premises, who delivers CSR activities, and these are the goals of CSR activities in their CSR activities. So Coca-Cola delivers in ESG, women's empowerment, sustainable packaging, water security. Britannia delivers in carbon neutrality, water conservation, workers' right, supply chain transparency, and reduce agrochemical uses. And Sankat Mochan Poly Products LLP delivers in water conservation, carbon neutrality, and workers' right. So in CS so as a industry, as a SDG 9, actually we provide industry, innovation, and infrastructure. In that, what we do actually, we acquire the land all over the Bihar, and we develop the infrastructure, and we provide that developed land to our industries, so that industrial development can be done, and that industrial development leads to economic equality and develop the society. Next one is reduced inequalities, SDG 10. Under SDG 10 goal, we actually we have penetration in remote districts also, like Siwan, Araria, Arwal, where industrial setup caters the local community and develops the economic development all those places also. So this is the food processing sector, Britannia Industries Limited. It is located in EPIP Hajipur. Area allocated to this unit is 10.56 acre. Product biscuit and project cost is 51 crores. So turnover of Britannia in Hajipur is 300 crore and production capacity is 41,800 metric ton per year. And employment is 1089, means 1089, and it works in 3 shifts. Next is also in food processing, same, AFP Manufacturing Private Limited. This is established in EPIP Hajipur. That EPIP Hajipur is completely dedicated to export promotion industrial park. Actually, it was developed by Center in 1980s, and then it is handed over to Bihar. This industrial area is completely dedicated to export promotion only. So most of the industries established in EPIP is indulged in export related production. So AFP Manufacturing is also a unit who is working for PepsiCo and Coca-Cola. So it is working, it is doing job work, and it is producing Kurkure and other product of Coca-Cola and PepsiCo. So project cost of AFP Manufacturing is 41.96 crore. Turnover is 2,427.85 crore. Production capacity is 13,000 metric ton per year. And employment in AFP Manufacturing is 446. This unit is also belongs to food processing. This is Anmol Industries Limited. This unit is also established in EPIP Hajipur. Area allocated to this unit is 3.88 acre. A good story behind the Anmol, that when Anmol established industry in EPIP Hajipur, he was targeting all the North Bihar and all the northeast of India and Nepal. But when unit established their unit and they started production, they started supplying, means surprisingly all their production was consumed in Bihar only. So they are also surprised that even their projection was not so high, and now to cater northeast Bihar, northeast India and North Bihar and Nepal, they are establishing another industry in Thakurganj, that is in Kishanganj. So product of Anmol is biscuits and cake. Project cost is 200 crore. Turnover is 453 crore. Production capacity is 170 metric ton per day. Employment is 720, where male employment is 660 and female is 660. Now coming to leather and textile sector. In leather and textile sector, Competence Export Private Limited is the industry whose 90% product is for export only. They are exporting to Russia, Poland, Switzerland, like those countries, and 80% of their product goes to Russian army. So completely this unit is in news for exporting to Russian army only. They are producing shoes for Russian army, jackets for Russian armies. So various type of leather and textile based products for Russian army, and leather shoes exporting to Poland. Now they are planning to produce goods for Bihar also. They are going to launch their product in Bihar probably by March or April 2026. So project cost of Competence Export Private Limited is 6.4 crore, turnover 110 crore, production capacity 2,000 pieces per day. Now they have installed another machineries that has come from Italy, and probably after the production, after the functioning of that machine, their production will be double, so it would be around 4,000 pieces per day. So employment in Competence Export Private Limited is 85, male is 85, female is 322. Here we can see that 75% of employment in Competence is women empowerment. 100% export oriented unit. Next one is New Jill Private Limited. So New Jill Fashion Wear Private Limited is rainwear company, and this is the greenfield company of such sector in Bihar. So here we can see the employment in New Jill Private Limited. Approximately 90% of worker is women. So this is surprisingly good achievement for women worker. So project cost is 4.2 crore, turnover is 25 crore, production capacity 10,000 pieces per day. They are also increasing their production by 2026. It would be around 1.5 times of the current production. Male employment is 73, female employment is 583. So here 583 is the female employment. Now there is a significant achievement in CSR by Coca-Cola in our industrial area. That is recycle 62% of the cans and bottles circulated by them in 2023. Means they are reducing their waste and they are recycling and using the same item in their new cycles. They have returned a cumulative total of 861 billion liters of water to nature from 2021 to 2023. Actually, in this, what they do, they are producing in Hajipur, but they look the location, different location in different districts, different villages, and they acquire those land or they take those land on lease. They develop ponds and other things, and they are recharging the same water, recharging the land by water, and whatever they are using. Suppose they have used 1 lakh liter today, so they are recharging those lands and ponds or villages with that much of water. So now they are going to achieve 0% water usage. Means whatever they are using, they will be recharging in groundwater at the same time in different villages, different locations. 90% of Coca-Cola's product packaging is recyclable. Advanced sustainability with plans to reach 100% by 2025. So currently 90% of their products means packaging labels, bottles are being recycled, and they have a plant situated in Gorakhpur. That plant, they are sending all their scrap products to Gorakhpur, and they are recycling those products. So here there is one glitch.
Two more minutes to try to finish
Yes.
it. Okay.
So there is a glitch that their products are going to market and they are being lost there only. Then how they are recycling 90%? So what they are achieving this 90%? How they are achieving this 90%? They are procuring other scrap bottles and packaging and whatever they can procure from kabadiwalas and all. So they are procuring that equivalent to that amount, and they are recycling that amount there and bringing them into the cycle again. So key takeaways is CSR is essential for sustainable business growth, economic equality, collaboration amplifies CSR impact. So how stakeholders are being collaborated, like employees, local people, villagers. So how much they will be collaborating, their effect will be amplifying proportionately. Together they create long-term economic, social and environmental values. Thanks.